What is the best methodology to learn a new language? Before we start, let's define the best methodology as the one that allow in the shortest period of time the student to build the skills he needs in an interesting way so he doesn't lose his motivation over time. To make things easier to understand, let's have an example the way an American learning to speak English. The process starts when he's still a baby. His parents repeat over and over some words in the hope that the baby will be capable to pronounce them, like dad or mom. But before pronouncing any word, the baby will make a lot of strange sounds and mispronounce the words many times, which is why the parents keep giving him constantly feedback. So the baby is always on the right track. Slowly but surely, the child keep increasing his vocabulary and his pronunciation, keep improving. By the time the child reaches school age, let's say 5 years old, he is now ready to learn how to read and write. The years go by, he becomes older and makes progress in the education system. Around 14 years old, the most important skills of language has already been built. But the child never stops learning, and he is learning from many different places, not only from his teachers, but mostly from his friends, the books he reads, from the television he watches, from the radio, from his colleagues at work. As an adult, the learning progress is almost complete, but never really stops. He can learn something new while reading the newspaper or going to the university. One fact that we need to keep in mind is that each word and sound that American use is stored in his brain in the form of brain connections. If he decides to learn a foreign language, he'll have to build new connections for the new words, sounds, and grammar. A brain connection doesn't just appear in the brain. To build it, will be required a spaced repetition. In other words, you need to try to use a new word a couple of times before it becomes intuitive. In conclusion, the American learns English because language is the way to interact with people and the environment. He does that step by step over a long period of time, and everything he knows comes from past experiences. There is no juggler in the world who can use a skill he hasn't built. There is no polyglot who can use a word that is not stored in his mental database. And for each word to be stored, it will require that the learner pay attention and repeat that same word a couple of times over a certain period of time. In terms of methodologies of learning English as a second language, the bad news is that we are not children growing up in the States. But the good news is that as adults, we have control of our decisions and path in life, which will accelerate our learning progress, as long as we have access to a good material and a proper approach. But it doesn't matter if you are a child or an adult. The best way to learn a language is interact with the environment and society using that language. The key to learn is a constantly need to express yourself, a need that will gradually increase in complexity over time and that will have enough feedback to keep you on the right track. We can summarize the best methodology as a process of repeated need to express thoughts and emotions that are followed by feedback and without unnecessary tasks.